Välkomna med till programmet Tro och under. Vi sänder från Mediemission International som är en modern missionsorganisation som vill nå så många som möjligt med evangeliet, budskapet om Jesus. Vi gör det med hjälp av media på alla tänkbara sätt. Morgan Karlsson som brukar sitta här i studion, han kunde inte vara med oss idag, men han är tillbaka i rutan i nästa vecka. Mitt namn är Kenneth Grönros. Med mig i studion här idag har jag vår verksamhetsledare, visionär och den som varit med ända från arbetets början. Det är Hannu Haukka. Välkommen med oss i studion.
Tack ska du ha.
Tack. Idag ska det handla om Indien och vi ska tala mycket om Mumbai. Och det har sina speciella orsaker. Det är ju en stad, en av världens stora megastäder verkligen. Och du kom för bara några timmar sedan hem från Mumbai och du ska få berätta lite grann vad det som hände där. Men innan det här med Hannu Haukka. Vad betyder Haukka?
The hauka it's a big bird, and it's a bird of prey, as we say, not praying like this, but a bird of prey means a bird that eats other meat. In other words, other small birds and others, rabbits and maybe mice, and so on. So there is no connection. I don't fly except by airplane.
Yeah, by airplane you fly.
I do, yeah. But we want to be people of peace. Not people preying on others, in other words, attacking others.
Ja, precis. Yeah. Haukka betyder på svenska falk.
Yes.
Och det är en fågel som flyger högt. Och det kanske nog anspelar lite grann till ditt liv just nu när du flyger runt om i världen.
Yeah.
Hannu, när vi talar om en storstadskampanj så jag vet att en del av tittarna kanske har en uppfattning lite grann, men kanske inte riktigt tydligt. Kan du lite grann beskriva vad handlar en storstadskampanj om egentligen?
Well, if I start with two concepts, there are two ways traditionally to reach larger populations of people. One concept is trying to invite people to a big stadium event. Let's say you have 50,000 seats or even 100,000 seats in a stadium. Invite people to a stadium for 3 nights in a row. You have a guest speaker, he preaches to them, and then of course you have the response, everybody goes home. But there's the problem with that concept is, though it is, I'm sure that God has blessed it in times past very, very extensively. The problem is that if you talk about reaching a whole city, which is really the mission field of a church in any city. If you believe in the Great Commission of Jesus Christ, when Jesus said, "Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature," then for the church it means the mission field on the doorstep. And if you talk about a city like Stockholm, how many people? 2-3 million?
Yeah, approx.
Maybe 3 million people. Yeah. It means that the church needs to have a strategy not to invite 50,000 people to a stadium event or 100,000 to a stadium event. The church needs to have a strategy to reach 3 million people in their city. And the question is, do we have that strategy or not? Exactly. The megacity campaigns are media campaigns, which in this case, if we talk about Mumbai, which has a population of 22 million people.
22 miljoner.
It's probably one of the biggest cities in the world, if not the biggest city in the world, maybe alongside, together with Tokyo or Mexico City. What is our strategy what is the strategy of the church to reach 22 million people with the gospel? That's a big question. Yeah. Well, in the case of Mumbai, what we have done together with the churches is we have come up with a strategy to use all possible media, a symphony of media. That means television, prime time, that's secular TV, not Christian TV, secular TV.
Yes.
Secular radio, billboards throughout the city, talking about newspapers, magazines, the social media, that's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, the internet, of course, and then you're talking about the public transport system, the buses, you're talking about the taxis, the trains. All of these media, all of these means will have the campaign message on, or they will carry the campaign message, meaning that experience the power to change. You know, God gives you the power to change. And when it comes at you from all sides, it is very powerful. For example, in Mumbai, there are 9 million people that travel in the trains every single day, commuting into Mumbai to work and out of Mumbai back home. 9 million people every single day. And the railroads of Mumbai...
It's the population of Sweden.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. The population of Sweden every single day on a train, or the trains.
Yes.
And so the railways of Mumbai have said, okay, we have advertisements, let's put the advertisements on the trains, outside the trains, the whole length of a big train. I mean, you know, they can be long trains in India. The whole length has the advertisement, the message. Inside every train car, wagon, as they say, I guess, vagn. So you have 3 advertisements inside every single train car. And that means that you are reaching a captive audience of 9 million people every single day, just on the trains alone.
Awesome. Yeah.
So it's going to be a massive campaign. Mumbai has 18 million cell phones. Think about it, 18 million cell phones. 2 times the population of Sweden in one city with cell phones. There will be a text message that will go out to the cell phones.
And the message is?
The message is experience the power to change, or read 15 stories that can change your life.
Oh, wow.
And the 15 stories are the 15 transformation stories of people in Mumbai. We showcase them in the media. All the media that I just listed, we showcase these 15 stories of transformed lives. And so that gives hope to people who are going through the same circumstances, through the same trials, through the same experiences, dark experiences of life. When people, they connect with these stories, say, this is my story too.
Absolutely.
And we say you can get the power, experience the power to change. God will give you the power to change, just like, you know, this guy's or this woman's or this businessman's or this Bollywood star's life was changed, or this person in the slums. This is the way his life was changed. You can experience it too. Transformation.
Wow.
And so that's what the concept is in general. And of course, it's not only the media. All the media directs the response, the traffic, to a call center. All the media will say, read this story and read 14 other stories, or read 15 stories that can change your life. Order the book, call this number, or go onto the internet. But the call center that we have now rented in Mumbai, first, originally there was 300 telephones, but when I came back 2 days ago, we have now acquired another 180 phones, which means a total of 480, almost 500 telephones, and they will be you know, manned 24/7. Well, not in the middle of the night, but from say 7 in the morning till 10 at night, there will be, you know, almost 500 phones working, and then during the night, less, of course. Wow. But they will receive the calls, and these calls will be processed. Everyone will be entered into a database. And Mumbai is divided into 14 different zones or districts. And every church in these different zones will receive, you know, the task of delivering the campaign book, which is 130, 140 pages, to everyone that has called. So if you get 300,000 phone calls, the churches will need to make 300,000 contacts with people in the city.
Exactly.
For that reason, the churches have now, at this point in time, they have recruited 5,000 volunteers. We call them book couriers, people that will take the books to the people who want the books. And we think that we will reach 7,000, and I hope that we would probably, by the time the campaign starts in November 15th, that we will have hopefully 10,000 volunteers.
Volunteers involved.
Book couriers, yes.
So we can say, in short, we use media to connect a single person to another personal connection. Because sometimes the big campaigns, the problems of them have also been there, that they are just a mass happening.
Right.
But we connect single person to another person through the telephone or the call center.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not only connecting people to people, but it's going into the homes, going to every individual in Mumbai with the message. That's the first layer. The second layer is then connecting these people to people. In other words, volunteers, churches, to these people who need and are looking for answers in their lives.
But tell me, Hannu, I think some of you think, how can you coordinate this huge symphony orchestra? What is the coordinating body?
Well, there are 1,400 churches that are now involved in the preparation process of this campaign. But out of that, we have maybe 10, 15 pastors, leading pastors in the core group. And of course, I work with the core group very extensively, intensively. And I thank God that we have an excellent, a very high caliber core team, a core group, which consists of, 10, 15 pastors. We have done 66 cities in the past. I have never seen like the caliber of leading pastors as I see in Mumbai. I mean, this is a gift of God, but it's also a huge, it's a colossal, a mammoth challenge to reach Mumbai. And so we need those men, and the Lord has provided.
Kan vi kommentera lite grann den här pastorns uttalande?
Well, again, I was in Mumbai 2 days ago, and we were in one of these big meetings where we had 600 pastors and church workers being briefed. We were briefing them, telling them about what to expect when this big campaign starts November 15th, that we hope that you will not be surprised. We want to prepare you for what you will be seeing. Because our experience everywhere in every city in the last 10 years is this: the pastors, on day one of the campaign, the pastors say, wow, we never expected this. We did not think it would be like this. But by that time, when they wake up on the first day of the campaign, it's too late to start preparing your church for the follow-up and for the discipleship that needs to take place, or to recruit volunteers. It's too late. You have to be prepared in advance. And we know that it's very difficult for people who have never seen a campaign like this. It's very difficult to really visualize and try to understand beforehand how it all will be. So we're doing our best. Now, just last week when I was there, I was talking to the United Methodist Church bishops. They are calling us in this coming weekend to a meeting of 1,500 Methodist pastors for Vision Casting.
From the area.
From the Mumbai area. And that's a huge gathering of Methodist pastors. But we also work with the Assemblies of God over there. We're working with the charismatic churches, the churches of North India. I mean, pretty well every denomination. This campaign is an interdenominational, it's a non-confessional campaign. We don't discuss theology or Bible doctrine. We are joining together, hands together, and behind one single cause, and that is to make Jesus Christ known to the residents of Mumbai. And that is a uniting force. When we come together, we all know that we're here only for one reason. That is to bring the gospel message to the city. There is no other reason, and there is no other motive, no hidden agendas. We join hands because we all believe in the same thing, that this is the mission, this is the role of the church in this time, in this place, to make Jesus known.
Absolutely. I think Mumbai will be a very interesting. What is your expectations regarding the feedback? What do you think will happen in November when the telephone starts to ring in the call center?
This is a logistical problem. And we tried to figure out, we tried to calculate how many responses we would get, because that also tells us how many telephones we need. It tells us how many volunteers we need to deliver the books. So we tried to figure out what number. I mean, what could possibly take place? How many calls will we get?
Of course.
And we went back to our experiences in Kathmandu, where 40,000 Hindu families in Kathmandu called the call center, and then consequently the churches then would follow them up. And in Chennai in 2011, we had 88,000 telephone calls. And Chennai was a city of, I guess, maybe 9 million, 8 million or something.
8, 9.
And then, so that was 88,000 telephone calls. And then we went to Hyderabad in 2012, and we had the total responses, including emails and so on, SMS messages. We got over 100,000, a little over 100,000 responses. And so on the basis of that, We calculated if Mumbai has a population of 22 million, which is about 2 to 3 times the size of these previous cities, of Chennai and Hyderabad, then the response could rise to 300,000 telephone calls. However, when we spoke to the secular media companies that sell the media, we told them of the project, and we talked about the response. And when they heard that we are expecting 300,000 calls, they said, you may be making a big mistake. The amount of calls may rise to 500,000.
Okay.
And you don't know, maybe there could be up to 1 million calls. And so when they said that, of course, my heart sank, you know.
Wow.
And I said, oh Lord, if that happens, what do we do?
Yes.
We are prepared for 300,000, maybe.
Yeah. Yes.
But if the sum is triple, 3 times as much as we expect, how do we handle that? And so there's a serious serious prayer that needs to take place. And as Jesus said, the harvest is plentiful. In this case, we see it in Mumbai. Okay. Absolutely and certainly, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And even with 7,000 volunteers, maybe with even 10,000 volunteers, still the workers will be few.
Will be full.
Yeah, our hands, the hands of the church will be full.
Yeah, and we really want to ask you, everybody, to pray for this, because this is a question about the salvation of people, to really find Jesus Christ. It's not just a campaign. We are really wanting people to find a personal, individual connection to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Hannu, about the future. I know Mumbai is now going on, but after this, what will happen? We are speaking about the year 2014, for example.
Yes, we are. But before I answer that, let me say this.
Yes.
Another thing was, okay, so the campaign is over, the responses come in, the books have, basically been delivered, hopefully. What then? What about the next step? I mean, the goal is that, people would find a church home. And I asked one of the pastors, one of the big churches in Mumbai, I said to him, I won't mention his name, I asked him, how would you handle 50,000 responses? If we give you, from the call center, if we give you 50,000 names and phone numbers,
good question.
How would you handle that?
Yes.
And he said, well, first of all, I think we could, with 50,000 names, we will establish 500 new house churches. Cell groups and homes, 500. Out of that amount of names, you can expect to see 500 new house groups, house churches being formed by their church alone. Yeah. And then I said to him, how so? How can that be? And he said, we have already tested the nets. In the days of Jesus, when he was out with his disciples on the Sea of Galilee, and then Jesus caused a great catch of fish to be caught. They caught a huge amount of fish, to the point when the fish nets started to break. And so he said, in order for us to know whether the nets will break or not break, we did a test in June. That is several months ago in June, May, June. We sent out 2,500 volunteers from our church onto the streets of Mumbai for 30 days. And 30 days later, after working on the streets with a simple brochure, we were able to establish a little over 200 house churches. And he said, that is, I think, an indication of what will happen if we receive 50,000, addresses and phone numbers of people who have requested the campaign book, for example. By the way, it's not only the book, we will also give them the Jesus film on DVD. In their own language. Okay. And that means 7 different languages in Mumbai, which are the big languages. So there will be a package. But anyway, this church showed us what can be done with 2,500 volunteers. And the nets did not break in May, June. So there is confidence in my heart that in most cases the nets should not be breaking. We are providing training for all the churches that do not have a follow-up program. It's completely normal for a church, we have found, to not have a follow-up program. The reason why is very simple.
Yeah.
They don't need a comprehensive follow-up program because there are no great numbers of people coming into the church.
Exactly.
So why should you have a big follow-up program? But in this case, there will be an explosion of people that will suddenly be, you know, there in front of you, and you need to be able to, you know, disciple them and lead them on.
Yeah.
And so in this case, churches do need training. We tell the churches, please be honest, please be open. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's not shame to say that we don't have a follow-up program, because that is very normal in most churches around the world, not only India, but also Finland, I think in Sweden, probably so.
Yes.
So just tell us that you don't have one. And we will come and train your people. We'll give you a follow-up program. The Alpha of India, Alpha Course of India, they are coming, they have come on board in a big way. They want to help us with the training. Then we have the churches that I just told you about, who tested the nets. They are able to train other churches. So now the fish boats or the nets are being put together and are being, you know, constructed in a way throughout the city where the nets would not be breaking.
Ja. Ja, det är ju helt fantastiskt. Det är så fantastiskt att se hur man kan använda modern media, connecta människor till församlingar och också komma igång med en uppföljningsarbete. Det som är starkt i det här programmet som vi erbjuder församlingarna ute i världen, ute i de stora städerna, det handlar ju väldigt mycket, inte bara om att hålla en kampanj, utan framförallt ge verktyg åt de lokala församlingarna till att kunna göra ett bra uppföljningsarbete. För det är ofta där det har brustit när vi ser tillbaka de senaste decennierna. Så de mediekampanjer vi arbetar med har satsat enormt mycket på uppföljningarna, och det är väldigt roligt att höra det vi hör nu från Indien, att man har till och med testat systemen så att det ska fungera på ett bra sätt. Vi ser fram emot ett fantastiskt genombrott i Mumbai.
Yes.
Och vi vädjar om förbön och stöd, för att det här är ett samarbete mellan oss här i Europa, mellan oss i Sverige, Finland och andra mediamissionsunderstödare, så att vi kan vara med och se ett andligt genombrott i Indien, denna jättenation som består av ett myller av människor, men som också ett land så fullt av potential, inte bara för sig själv utan för länderna runt omkring. Så det är väldigt starkt. Men Hanno, när vi ser framåt nu inom Mediemission International, vad kommer att hända härnäst? Jag förstår att allas våra hjärtan och tankar är just nu i Mumbai, men vi vet att där finns också en del andra projekt på gång som kan vara intressant för tittarna att veta.
Oh yes, yeah. When it comes to megacity campaigns, I think we have a back order of probably 20 different countries, many cities.
Som har vädjat om kampanj.
They have invited us to come.
Wow.
And we don't have the human resources in the present situation, and we don't have the financial resources to do 20 countries or to do 30 different cities, in 2 years or 3 years' time. Even in India, for example, after Mumbai, we have been invited to come to Kolkata, a huge megacity, to Delhi, huge megacity, Bangalore, huge megacity, to Patna, to Lucknow, and other cities. Yeah. So even India alone, I mean, we have a huge, need and invitations coming, but not only from India, but also from Jakarta, Indonesia, the biggest, one of the biggest Islamic cities in the world. We also have Taiwan. I was in Taiwan in July. The whole island, the churches want to cover the whole island of Taiwan with a megacity type of campaign. That means 17 cities at one time, simultaneously. That's 23 million people. These are huge challenges, and of course, the Taiwanese would be basically financing that campaign, but they want us to come in to set it up and to help them do it. So there's just a lot of things going on. At the same time, Media Mission is reaching into the Islamic world by satellite television, 7-8 satellites every single day in Arabic, and we do Farsi also. In addition, we do Sudanese, South Sudanese Arabic, we do Harik, we do Somali, production in these languages, gospel programs for these nations over satellite. We are also in Israel very heavily. We had a great mega city or city campaign, a series of campaigns in Israel in May, June of this year. And we know that I think there are about 13 or 14 house churches and one big church that have been established as a result in Israel as a result of these mega city campaigns.
Hanno, tiden går fort. Vi ska avrunda programmet här. Det är så fantastiskt och inspirerande att tala mission. Och jag tror att du som har varit med oss också i programmet känner att församlingens uppdrag, det är inte bara att vara till för sig själv, utan det handlar om att ge budskapet till vår generation. Och vi har möjligheter idag att arbeta effektivt. Jag vill också nämna om vår tidning Mediemission som du kan få gratis när du ringer numret som kommer upp på screenen här just nu i slutet av programmet, eller sänd oss ett e-mail, ring telefonnumret eller sänd oss ett brev. Vi vill gärna sända er den här väldigt intressanta missionstidningen där du kan följa med om vad som händer i Mumbai, vad som kommer att hända i kampanjerna i Israel och i många andra länder som kommer att komma i fokus här småningom. Nu tackar vi för oss och tackar för att du ville vara med oss i programmet, och vi önskar dig välsignelse och kraft och vi säger hej då och tack.